Hello everyone, this is Michael from salesmade.co and we've covered now module 1, which is more about Australia, Australian economy, education, property market in general, so on and so forth. And the second module that we covered was to do with property investment analysis and the entire property transaction. And in today's module, we're going to be covering the actual project. Okay, so that's the apartment project that we are promoting, and it's also a module that will basically take you through how we analyze the investment feasibility of a project. Okay, so let's begin. This is the artist impression of the project. Now, in actual fact, those two towers, this one called St. Paul's and this one called the Alfred, those two towers have been completed as of March this year, 2020. So this is just an artist's impression that we're using, but just know that those two towers as part of the project have been completed. Okay, so this is the Brisbane CBD. Okay, we're about 1 to 1.2 kilometers away from the CBD. The project is called the Coterie, and as you can see, this is the actual building already established. Very close to Chinatown, all the restaurants, shopping, and schools. We'll go through the map very soon. There is a rooftop swimming pool that looks over the Brisbane CBD, and the interior is very well designed and very high quality finishes. So again, this is something that we covered in our first module. Let's just revisit that. Out of all the major cities across Australia, the capital cities in each state, Brisbane by far has the highest property growth potential. Okay, and that's partly because of its affordability. And according to Dr. Andrew Wilson, chief economist of My Housing Market in Australia, it is the difference is really in the price of similar or same units in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, in the sense that if you're comparing the same, for example, one bed, one bath, one car park apartment in Brisbane CBD, Sydney CBD, Melbourne CBD, the Brisbane apartment would be $90,000 less expensive than Melbourne, and $270,000 or thereabouts less expensive than the same apartment in Sydney. Okay, so the difference in price, as well as the fact that there is not so much different in terms of rental income. You know, in Brisbane, Sydney, you probably get $420 to $450 for a one bed, one bathroom. In Brisbane, in Melbourne, that's maybe you're looking at $500 or so, and in Sydney, you'd probably be looking at $550, $600. Per week. So in terms of rental return, there is not a great deal of difference. So there is probably about sort of 5 to 10% difference in terms of the rental return. But when it comes to the difference in pricing, it's vastly different. And that's why in terms of the return on investment, Brisbane leads all major capital cities. Okay, so that's because of the affordability, but also because Brisbane is the third largest city in Australia with 2.5 million population. So if you recall from our first module, Melbourne had 5.5 million, Sydney has close to 6 million, Brisbane has 2.5 million. Because of its affordability and the weather, a lot of people from Melbourne, Sydney and other states are actually coming to Brisbane. So there is a bit of an interstate migration. So with more and more people coming to the city, the property becomes probably going to be less and less affordable because of the demand driving the property price up. Okay, so in the next 12 to 24 months, we believe that there is a very good window for property investment in Brisbane. So when we look at a particular project, there are probably 5 different factors that we have to consider. Okay, when we are considering whether it's worthwhile to invest into a project. The first thing is always, as we said, location, location, location. Okay, so if you recall in the first module, when it comes to property investment, there are 7 different factors, and the first and foremost is location. And if you also recall in our first module, we had the 3 S's. Okay, if you remember, that's the station, school, and shopping. So in this case, The Coterie project is about 250 meters away from a train station, and that train station, by the way, is also made into a shopping center called Valley Metro. Okay, so there are trains there. There is only one stop away from the Brisbane CBD. There are also bus stations, and as we said, the Valley Metro has shopping centers with all the major brands and very close to the CBD. Now, just for your information, the location of this project is in a suburb called Fortitude Valley. Now, Fortitude Valley is about 1 to 1.2 kilometers away from CBD, and in terms of the livability, a lot of people tend to not want to live in the CBD because of the noise and how busy it is. Okay, so because CBD is generally for business purposes. And so what people tend to like is they want to live a little bit further away from the CBD, not too far away, because people love to walk and commute to work easily. Okay, if you recall from our first module, plenty of people actually commute to work by foot, by walking to their workplace. So Fortitude Valley is a preferred place for people to live because of its proximity to the CBD, but also because Fortitude Valley also has Chinatown. Okay, there are a lot of good restaurants, and Fortitude Valley has lots of shopping centers, okay, and lots of schools, which makes this place very much a place to boom now and also in the future. And you're about to see that the population growth in Fortitude Valley is probably 6 times more than the average Australian population growth. Okay, so that's the location. So close to CBD, very close to CBD, very close to train station, buses, so all the transport amenities, and very close to the shopping centres. There's schools around as well, and with all the food, beverage, bars, restaurants, fashion, and recreational facilities. Okay, there are plenty of gyms nearby, and also, as you know, the rooftop of the 2 buildings in the project have swimming pools. So that's location. And then let's talk about demand. Okay, so again, property is just a vehicle for economics 101, supply and demand. Okay, there is very strong population growth in the entire Brisbane in general, and in particular Fortitude Valley. Okay, the population growth has been growing steadily for about 13 to 14% every year. Okay, whereas the average Australian population growth is about 2 to 3%. Okay, countrywide. Now, we talked about demand. Now let's talk about supply. Now, because there is limited future residential development in Fortitude Valley and Brisbane sort of metro in general, there is constrained supply. Okay, you probably see on the news, on different articles on TV, saying that Australia in general has constrained supply because of developers not building as much as what they used to do. Okay, and that's partly to do with commercial banking reasons. It's partly to do with market reasons. But all in general, the market is, or the property market, the property prices in general, is set to grow because there is not a lot of supply to the market, but there is plenty of demand and request to buy in the marketplace. Okay, so this is particularly important in Brisbane, Gold Coast, and all those cities that are very strong in its own economy and also very much tourism driven because of the fantastic weather in Queensland. Okay, so in terms of long-term rentals, we'll be looking at basically the white collars going to work via walking to the CBD, or it could be the short-term rentals, particularly the tourists that typically want to rent an apartment for a week, and a week could be generating something like $1,000 to $1,250 or something for a 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car park. Okay, so that's the supply. Not a lot of supply there. So besides supply, demand, and location, we also want to be looking at another factor, and this is more or less to do with the government, the public sectors, as well as the private sectors, in terms of how much money has been invested into this particular area. Okay, so as we said, Valley Metro is the shopping center plus the train station kind of a consortium where it has pretty much everything, and that's currently just finishing the redevelopment to put a new Woolworths. A Woolworths is like the Australian Walmart, if you like. That's a major a major grocery shopping centre, supermarket, and also the train stations are getting upgraded. Together, there are other shopping facilities as well as the cinema. Okay, there is the Fortitude Valley State Secondary School close by, and it has opened. Very soon, when the pandemic gets over, there'll be students coming to the college in its opening year. Okay, the music venue in Brunswick Street, very close to where we are. That's to do with entertainment. So all in all, in terms of infrastructure and upgrades, this area has gone really hot. Okay, you're about to see that in the next few slides. Okay, so there's definitely more than 800 million being put in and injected into this area to upgrade. Okay, so that's the infrastructure. Now, fifth, to do with the project, is who is building it. The builder needs to be a builder that focuses on high quality, obviously licensed and all certified. So in this case, the builder of the project, called Maxcon, is a tier 1 construction company in Australia, and they're very much specialised in residential, or in this case, high to medium density residential developments. And these are some of the apartments that they have built. So this is a hotel in Brisbane, very close to where we are in Fortitude Valley. Okay, so a reputable builder that focuses on high quality, delivering high quality finishes that stands the time is very important in this case. So these are the 5 different pieces of the puzzle, right? Location, the supply, the demand, the choice of the builder, the high quality, as well as the infrastructure upgrades in the local area. In terms of location, here is a bird-eye view of the project. Okay, so it's right here. Now, as you can see, the Brisbane CBD is really close to where we are. And as we said, Fortitude Valley, right, this area, is getting very, very hot in terms of the residential demand, both in terms of owner-occupiers, so people who want to live in there themselves, and the tenants, okay, so people who are renting. Okay, so it's a very strong residential market because of the close proximity to the CBD, the parks, the shopping, the transport to basically everywhere in Brisbane. So there is shopping here, there is a stadium there, hospital, streets and streets of fine food, botanic gardens, CBD as we said. The train station is right here and our project is right there, so it's literally just across the road. There is museum, gallery, gardens and park. This is the famous Brisbane River, okay, that sort of flows across there. This is a high-level Google map showing different places. So again, this is where the project is in Fortitude Valley. Okay, 109 Alfred Street is the location for the Alfred Tower. And as you can see, the Fortitude Valley station is just right here, literally opposite the street. Okay, so that's where we are. There are golf courses. There's different streets where you can find fine food. Okay, Fortitude Valley train station as well as the Metro Mall. It's all in this building. Okay, very close to where our project is. And bear in mind, a lot of people who are going to be renting apartments here will be people who are working in the Metro Mall. Okay, so it's very close to where they work. Okay, that creates the demand as well. The Brisbane Chinatown is right here. Okay, you can probably walk to Chinatown here in Brisbane in less than 5 minutes. Okay, there's lots of schools. So you've got Brisbane Grammar School, Brisbane Girls Grammar School, the Brisbane State School. There is also the James Cook University. So you've got tertiary education and secondary education. Okay, and the Fortitude Valley State School is somewhere over here. Then you've got many hotels, like the Marriott hotels and the Sofitel hotels. Okay, so this area is very hot in terms of tourism. And train stations wise, you've got the Central Station right in the heart of CBD. Okay, that goes to Fortitude Valley station in about a stop, and you've got Roma Street. So basically those 3 stations, along with Baldwin Hill Station, those 4 stations are probably the 4 busiest train stations in Brisbane. Okay, you can probably see the train lines going across. Okay, as we said, we've got a few train lines that are very busy. So we've got Fortitude Valley Station, we've got Central Station, we've got Baldwin Hill Station, and also Roma Street Station. So basically, from here, it can take you to basically everywhere and anywhere in Brisbane. Okay, and even outside Brisbane, okay, with a train that goes to Gold Coast, okay, Beenleigh, Ipswich, so these are the regional towns, and of course there is direct line to the airport in Brisbane as well. Okay, so those train stations will take you pretty much anywhere, connecting to all the major train lines. So we covered infrastructure upgrade, and here is a typical outline of what those infrastructure are. Basically. So that's in terms of private sectors and public sectors, both investing together 12.5 billion into this local area. Okay, in particular, the Valley Metro. Okay, the Valley Metro here, as we said, consists of both the train station as well as the shopping facility and cinemas, restaurants, and so on and so forth. So that's right here. And this train line runs directly into the Brisbane CBD. Okay, so this photo was taken quite a while ago. That's when our project right here was still building. Now both buildings have been completed, brand spanking new, completed as of March this year. Okay, so as you can see, they're literally just right across the road diagonally. Okay, it's about 250 meters walk, if not even that. Okay, so in the future, long-term future, there is going to be plenty of apartments, more projects in this pocket. Okay, but it's a long-term thing. So for the short term, in the next 5 to 10 years, we expect not so many supply of apartments to the market, which means people still want to live and compete for prices to live in this market. This is more or less to do with the lifestyle. So you've got the fine cafes, restaurants, shopping, cinemas, entertainment, plenty of parks, places where you can ride with bicycles, walk, jog, and also plenty of the large brands in the shopping centres. Okay, so being a local is something that even I myself very much look forward to. It's a very good lifestyle. Now we talked about the demand, so let's just talk a little bit further, especially related to the numbers. As we said, that the average annual population across Australia increases at 2 to 3%, but in Fortitude Valley, this particular suburb, this catchment, okay, the population increases annually on average at 13.4% in the last 5 years. Okay, and that's because of its livability, close proximity to the Brisbane CBD, and all the amenities literally at your footstep, at your doorstep. Okay, now also to do with the commercial aspects, when there are lots of retail shops in the local area. In 2017, the annual spend in the local retail shops are about 185 million, and that's about to go up by quite a lot actually, gone up by about 50% from 185 to 270 million that we expect in this catchment area by 2021. Okay, because there'll be more retail, there'll be more people, more facility, and that's all goes hand in hand with the upgrade. Okay, so this is more to do with the project. External, you can see this is the rooftop pool. Everything has been completed. You can see the CBD, the Brisbane CBD. This is the rooftop, sort of your barbecue area, your sun area. Okay, and those two buildings together would make up the project, the coterie. Right, this one being the St Paul's Tower on St Paul's Terrace. This is the St Paul's Terrace, and this is the Alfred Tower on Alfred Street. Okay, so this is Alfred Street, this is St Paul's Terrace. Okay, both apartments have fantastic views all around the river on this side, as well as the CBD. So that's external. Internal, we've previously shown you some photos, but here is more. This is a typical example of how the apartments will be furnished, which look pretty attractive to tenants, whether it's long-term or short-term. So the standard sofa, the coffee table, the tables and chairs, the bed, the mattress, and all of things you can see here, the bathtub and everything, basins, that's all included in the project, in the construction. Okay, so what we want to do is for investors to purchase these apartments already furnished so that tenants can literally just bring their bag, their toothbrushes and everything and move in and live straight away. Okay, and that's what they prefer. As a development summary, the two buildings, Alfred and St. Paul's. Alfred has 130 units, St. Paul's has 119, so together about 249 units in total. And these are the distributions of how many one bedrooms, one bathrooms, and car parks. So there are some that are one bed, one bath, no car park, as you can see here, but most of them have car parks. This is a typical example of a floor plate. Floor plate is basically a cross-section of a building. This is of the St. Paul's Tower. As you can see here, we've got apartment number 1. Okay, and generally all the apartment 1s, 2s, and 3s, if you're looking at, say, 501 versus 601 versus 1701, they're pretty much the same. Okay, so all those floor plans are the same. So you've got apartment 1, apartment 2, apartment 3, right? So these are the entrance, right? Apartment 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 apartments per level, and there are 2 lifts. Okay, there's always stairs for safety reasons. So that's the floor plate of 7 to 25, which we are promoting. So if we were to just take a look at 1401, so I'm just labeling here the stairs, the lifts, and 1401. So 1401, if you recall from our last module, we did a property investment analysis on 1401, and that's it right here. So as you go in, you see you have your toilet, bathroom, shower and everything on your left-hand side. You've got your bedroom, and there is a separate door that goes into the shower. Then you've got your kitchen, open plan kitchen, living, and a balcony. Balcony can have a view of the city. Okay, so the city is around there.